Share Sitaira, share Sitaira, oh.
One day me been a bamboo down, and me see Sitaira lay down there, and me ask Sitaira what she do there. Sitaira ice up she belly good wine like a boxing good. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day.
Sunday morning I was passing, and me see Sitaira lay down there, and me ask Sitaira what she do there. Sitaira ice up she belly good wine like a boxing good. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day. Share, Sitaira, share, Sitaira, share, Sitaira, oh.
One day me been a wakana, and me see Sitaira pon the dam, and me ask Sitaira what she do there. Sitaira ice up she petticoat wine like a boxing board. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day.
One day me been a wakana, and me see Sitaira on the down, and me ask Sitaira what she do there. Sitaira ice up she very good by like a box of gold. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day. Sitaira mo man day, oh Sitaira mo man day.
Sitaira,
Mo man day,
oh Sitaira,
mo man day.
Sitaira,
Mo man day,
oh Sitaira.
mo man day.
All right. Hey, guess what? Good evening. It's just a little, what is it? A few minutes after 9 o'clock. I know the time is different wherever you are, but where I am, it's currently 6 minutes after 9, and I'm ready to rock and roll with you. Spread the word, let folks know that we are on, and we are here to rock and roll with you. Share the link, share it with your relatives, share it with your co-workers, share it with your cellmates if you are in the Camp Street prison right now, if you're in New Amsterdam, if you're in wherever you are, just share the link. And if you have never given anybody anything in your entire life, now is the time to give them that link. Share the straight up program with them. Surprise them. Let them know that you're a giving person, that you're a caring person, and that you love to share. Hence our reason, right here on 107.1 FM, on behalf of our operator Lemon, we say thank you for sharing the link and welcome to Straight Up, where we will discuss issues, we will expose what's happening in apartheid Guyana. But before we get into all of that, I know some of you celebrated your birthdays recently. Some of you may be celebrating your birthday today. One such person is Vidna Haripasad. Vidna Haripasad has celebrated her birthday just yesterday, and then it was her mom's birthday just the other day. And so Vidna, I know she has been latched onto this show for many years now. She just loves what's happening. She loves to talk about the politics. But I also take the time out to say that I have known, and it sounds as though just an old guy now, but it's okay. At some point in time, we have to get to this, you know, old age time preparation for that. And so Vidna and I have been friends for what, 40 something years, 40 something years. And I say that to say that I do hold on to friendship, real friendship, and there is this bond. And whenever I'm on the air, Vidna and her domestic partner. They both sit and they watch whether we are on for 1 hour or 2 hour. And so I take this time out to say happy birthday to you, my friend Vidna Hari Prasad. God richest blessings. And to all of you who are celebrating your birthday today, happy birthday as well. Or if you're celebrating it tomorrow, happy birthday as well. And now back to apartheid Guyana. I want to see some of your comments before we start up. We got to get into the Sioux stuff. We can't just pretend that Sioux doesn't exist. We can't just push that underneath the rug, so to speak, and to pretend as though we have all forgotten about Sioux and the high level of against allegations against Bara Jagdeo, who resides part and parcel of apartheid Guyana. They are the reason why Guyana is currently being described by many people, including yours truly, as apartheid Guyana. Apartheid Guyana. And we're going to break this down for you and why it's important that we talk to you a little bit about apartheid Guyana. Apartheid Guyana. And this little thing that we have there with those folks who are being beaten and tear gassed and these sort of things, that's out in South Africa when it was apartheid South Africa. And so that was how the state treated its citizens in apartheid South Africa. But when you take a look, and we don't have to go back far as what happened in apartheid South Africa, take a look at the recent happenings on the east coast of Demerara when folks had to run because of tear gas and all manner of things. And, tell me, is it so wrong that we are going to describe Guyana under the installed PPP regime as apartheid Guyana? And then when they're described as such, they get upset. Their bumps raise. I know sometimes you guys want me to define what do I mean when bumps raise, especially if I say Jagdeo's bumps raise or Irfan bumps raise. It's just as putting them in the same category of when Ali Clip and his the members of the peanut butter crew at office of the president, mind you, when their bumps raise. I say no more. But hey, it's Tuesday. Good evening, and again, welcome to Straight Up. We have folks all the way in Essequibo are also listening to us. Hi, Nadira. How are you? Good night to you and your family. Turn the volume up and let everybody hear. Turn up the volume all over. And Elizabeth Kit. I've never said good night to you, but I want to say good night to you and Elizabeth Kit. Let me see who else I haven't said goodbye to. Well, I know Grandma Morna is always with us. So hi, good evening to Grandma Morna. Brenda is always with us. In fact, Brenda should be running for some office on Facebook. Brenda is always with us. You know what I mean? Good night to you, Brenda. And we have Denise Booker. Bundari doesn't care nothing about not even himself. Well, Bundari indeed. All right, let's get ready to start our show. What you guys want us to begin with? I have no guest this evening, but I do have a guest tomorrow night. Lincoln Lewis is going to be on. I saw Lincoln and Dr. David Hines' show for a few minutes. I was watching them, and they were pretty hot on the topic, exposing the folks in the apartheid PPP regime, apartheid Guyana. Let's not be afraid to say these things, right? Because that is what they want us to do, and it's dangerous grounds that we are heading, where they want us to be afraid of saying things. Let's move to this here now. GCOM, well, this is not what we were hoping to get to at this time, but let us deal with it at this moment since it's already on the screen. It says here, GCOM now looking at local government elections in January 2023. That's according to News Source. A News Source is owned by Gordon Mosley. So again, we're looking at this sort of hypocrisy. We're looking at this sort of scampishness because first they were bold enough to say that local government elections will be uh, by the end of this year. I already knew that that was basically the same old script that they're using from pre 2015, sorry, when they never held local government elections. In fact, for the 23 years that they've been in office, they've held local government elections once. Thankfully, democracy came into existence when, well, at least for the most part, democracy came into existence when when the coalition got into office in 2015. In less than 5 years, the coalition held two local government elections. Two, again, I repeat, two local government elections. Local government elections is due or was due last year, I believe. Maybe someone can correct me, but it is due. It is overdue. But the PPP isn't bothered. They're not worried about local government elections for obvious reasons. And that is they just don't give a damn about local government elections. They don't give a damn about democracy. It is all about them. I've noticed Marlon Samuels is just surprised when I said once. Yes, once they've held local government elections. There was a time when they were supposed to have had local government elections, and for some inexplicable reason they didn't have it, or maybe for obvious reasons why they didn't have it. But I want to explain this part here to all of you that they had local government elections once. And the one time when we were close enough to have local government elections under the PPP regime, guess what? There was this coming together. And I want you guys to hear me out on this. But before you hear me out on this, I want to take a quick break because you've got to hear me out on this. As to the one time when we were close to or we were close to have local government elections, there was something that happened. Take a sip of water or something, and I'll be right back and explain to you guys what happened then.
So, this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington Law Firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
If you are looking to have your statutory declaration, affidavit of income, identity, damage or lost passport, lost license, tenancy agreement, agreement of settlement, power of attorney, last will and testament, and certification of documents, then you need to visit the Alistair Collins firm, located at the Killian Mall, 162 Lamaha Street in Georgetown, between Camp and Waterloo Street. Alistair Collins is a commissioner of oaths and a justice of the peace. Make certain you visit him or call for more information at 649-6410 or 685-6448 or 503-1451. And there's adequate parking available. Go down to the Alistair Collins firm and have all of your legal issues settled and brought to the fore. Alistair Collins firm. Contact them at Alistair Collins firm.
All right, welcome. We urge that you support those businesses that support us, because if they don't support us, maybe we probably wouldn't get some little things around the office to get going if a bulb blow or something like that. All right, welcome back. And I want to explain to you guys, I noticed Pastor Anil Sugrim, who was just on the show with the Dinesh Jai Prashad show with Fayaz and uh, and they did a wonderful job in exposing the PPP regime. But Anil Sugrim, Pastor Anil Sugrim, who's a counselor out in Skeldon area for Corriverton area for the coalition, has said and he read something. He said, "Look, someone is registered at his house with, I mean, using his address, doesn't live there, don't know who that person is, but yet they used his address as part of the registration at the Guyana Elections Commission." Anil Sugrim, Pastor Anil Sugrim, just made that revelation on the Dinesh Jaiprashad show right here on 107.1 FM. Okay, so let's get to the point. The first elections held in 1994, that was when Hamilton Green walked away with 12 seats, and he took control of City Hall. He walked away with 12 seats, took control of City Hall, and that was it. And so they never had local government elections after that. But at one point in time, they came very close to having local government elections. But there was this cooperation between the PPP and the PNC not to have local government elections. I just want to make that lucidly clear that our politics sometimes, when we look at it and when we study it, sometimes it makes us just say, I notice again, some people are saying, wow, not to what I'm about to say, but there was this coming together of the PNC and the PPP. I thought at that time it was wrong. It should not have happened. Never should have happened. We should have been able to have local government elections. But here's where the coming together was all about. Hamilton Green was the mayor of Georgetown. There was this beef between some people, some senior members of mainly Mr. Hoyt, then opposition leader and former president. There was this forever ongoing beef between Hamilton Green and Desmond Hoyt, Mr. Desmond Hoyt. And so they got together, the PNC and the PPP got together, and they decided that they're going to kick Hamilton Green out of the mayor's office. Just drag him out. He wasn't going anywhere. And Hammy appeared that he was bent on not going anywhere. So the PNC got together with the PPP and they came up with a plan. And now, how many of you guys want to hear that plan? They came up with a plan. Poor Hammy, sitting in his office, not knowing, and at that time, had they gone to local government elections, I suspect that the PNC would have won. Because Hammy, by then, his popularity went down. He was a bit popular, yes, with the vendors and so forth. But outside of that, Hammy's popularity dropped because Hammy wasn't really doing much any longer. He was just comfortable in that position. And he might have been using that to say to Hoyt, look, I am mayor. I was prime minister. You took away the party from me and so forth, whatever. I'm just assuming that. So Hammy used that now, his seat in City Hall there, to basically probably mock at Mr. Hoyt. And I noticed Anil Sugrim is talking about IMC. Yeah, we'll get to that, Anil, because that's what the PPP believed in. IMC, they had an IMC all over, IMC in Linden. We'll talk about that. And the IMC was also, in some respect, was supported by the PNC then as well. So again, I say the politics is a bit ticklish, right? You've got to be able to know how to read into it, how to understand the players and so forth, and who some of these players are. Now, Hamilton Green wasn't prepared to go. They weren't having local government elections because the same issues all over again, GCOM, and they're not ready, and the registration of individuals, all manner of things. And it's always about the same thing. So the same thing they're talking now is nothing version. It's nothing new, right? Absolutely nothing. So let's get down to this deal. The PPP and the PNC got together and they came up with this plan as to how to get rid of Hamilton Green from City Hall. So the plan that they came up with, sorry, it was 1997 that 1997 that Hammy not 1997. I got distracted there for a second. I got distracted. I'm sometimes easily distracted by some messages. I should not, but I should apologize to you guys. But let's get straight to this deal here now. So the PNC and the PPP got together, sit down drinking Marby, and they came up with this plan. Mr. Hoyt was opposition leader then. And the plan was to remove Hammy from City Hall. So Hamilton Green, how the voting operates in Guyana is that for the mayorship, there's no voting for a mayor. When you walk into the voting booth, and that is where I've been arguing with them for over 20 years now, that this thing got to be in a democratic form. You can't have people walking into a voting booth, and instead of voting for someone directly for the mayorship, you're voting for a party, a political party. Then that political party gets together around what is called at City Hall a horseshoe table. Speaking of horse, let me just take it just before I forget. A horseshoe table, not this kind of table, though, but a horseshoe table. And now we take a break from that because I know you're anxious about the deal that I'm about to tell you back then with the PNC and the PPP. This is what Guyana has gone to now. Even the horses don't have anything to eat. They got to go in people's garbage bins. Poor Guyana. We'll get back to that as well, though. But let us continue with this deal. So they got around this horseshoe. How they vote is they go around the horseshoe table. And the party with the most votes, they're the ones who get to vote and control who or decide who they want to be the next mayor. And so those people within the party decides on if they want Harry right, Harry wrong, or whomever to be your next mayor. That I have been arguing for 20-something years. It is wrong. It is undemocratic. It should not happen at all. The people should have that right to walk into a voting booth, whether it's for Georgetown, and vote directly for their own mayor. So if they want Benschop as the mayor, just click that button or just put the X next to Benschop for mayor, or any one of you in this audience right now, Anil Sugrim for mayor or whatever. Let the people decide, not the men and women around a horseshoe table and the leadership of the party is going to decide who should be. And sometimes you end up putting some sort of all kind of rubber stamps we see happening. It has been happening. So now is not the only time we see some rubber stamps. So when you see that there are mayors that are not performing or deputy mayors that are not performing, you can't blame them. You blame the party that put them there. Don't blame them, because if most of them that when I look around, most of them that are there right now, if they were to put their names up to run, and people had that opportunity to walk into a voting booth, people wouldn't be voting for most of them. 98% of them people wouldn't be voting for. So don't blame them. They can't help themselves. It's the party that put them there. But let's get back to this Hamilton Green and this deal back then. The deal back then was to remove Hamilton Green. So the PPP and the PNC got together, like I said, over some high wine or Marby or whatever the heck it is that they were drinking. Mr. Hoyt and then Jack Deere back then and so forth. And the deal was to go around the horseshoe table and have this vote, because Hammy had 12 votes, 12 seats. PPP had 10 seats, and the PNC had 8 seats. That time, I believe Raphael Trotman was a councillor as well. A lot of them were councillors. And so they got there, and there was this deal that, and Oscar Clark was there as well. And the deal was to have the PNC control the mayorship of Georgetown. And the PNC's choice for the mayorship was a guy named Randolph Jordan, I believe. Randolph Jordan from Agricola. He's now dead. So the PNC actually suggested that Randolph Jordan will be the mayor. And the PPP suggested Philomena Sohoy Shuri. They call her some firebrand. I don't know what is so firebrand about her. But that was the deal. So when they went around the horseshoe table, guess what? All of the PPP councillors and all of the PNC councillors voted for Randolph Jordan, and all of the to be mayor, and all of the PNC and the PPP councillors voted for Philomena Sohoy Shuri to be the deputy mayor. And poor Hamilton Green and his 12 councillors became just regular councillors. That was the deal. Ranwell Jordan. Thank you, Sam Coke. Thank you. And so that was the deal. And so we didn't hear much about local government elections. Nobody really cared about local government elections until the coalition came into office. And thankfully, they did it for 2 years. But hold on, the deal wasn't over. Hammy is a trench fighter. Not a trench crapper, you know. I wouldn't put my friend Hammy in that category at all. Far from it. But he's a trench fighter. He couldn't stand the fact that he had became just a regular councillor and saw Ranwell Jordan and Philomena Sohoy moving around as mayor and deputy mayor, and poor Hamilton Green got tucked away in a corner at City Hall. The guy is a trench fighter. He didn't give up. He found a way to probably warm himself back into, to some extent, into the PNC. He's a diehard PNC and so forth. There was bad blood between him and Desmond Hoyt. Bad blood, really bad blood. So much so that if Hamilton Green had to sell the PNC out with Desmond Hoyt in it, he would have done that. And some people are of the view that maybe that did happen. But I'm just going through a little bit of a history there with the local government elections and the blame games and so forth, and how people play this political game with the ordinary citizens. But Hamilton Green warmed his way back to some extent. And so they were able to get this deal. And here's the other deal that they got now. They sat down in Congress Place and they came up with this deal and walked away from the original deal that they made with the PPP, which was for 1 year, Ranwell Jordan was going to be the mayor. And then the next year, Philomena Sohoy Shuri was going to be the mayor, and Ranwell would have become the deputy mayor. But they basically tricked Philomena Sohoy Shuri. She didn't get a chance to become mayor. Poor lady. Oh, I feel it for her. Right? And so the PNC dashed that out, and they decided now they're going to go back to the horseshoe table and have a vote. And there Hammy came in, and the PNC put one of their guys by the name of Robert Williams, who became the deputy mayor. So it's Robert Williams, deputy mayor, Hamilton Green, the mayor of Georgetown, and all was good again. Thank you, Conrad August, GGG, which meant then good and green for Georgetown, but Hamilton Green changed it to good and green for Guyana. So lots of things you guys need to know. Some of you probably didn't know that, and I'm glad that we were able to furnish that information to you concerning why local government elections weren't held. So the bulk of the blame is on the PPP, yes, but sometimes people play political games with the rank and file folks, and I don't like the political games. All right, we want to move on to some other stuff, but before we do, hey, go out and grab a copy of the Village Voice newspaper whenever you see it around. They publish every Sunday. This newspaper, once it continues doing what it's doing, will become the most popular newspaper in Guyana. You've got to go on their website. You've got to share their links. You got to share their articles and whatever else. And if you can drop something in the bucket for them, you know what I mean when I say drop something in the bucket for them. Make a donation. Go on their site. Make sure that the donation is going directly to the Village Voice, because The Village Voice, you need to embrace that. Don't go on the other PPP propaganda news websites and all these those crap. Go to the Village Voice for decent news. All right. In this struggle, there are some people who don't know which side they're on. And this is why we have this here to say, which side are you on? You know, they have some folks who play games with people. They just play games because they don't know which side they're on. They just don't know which side they're on. And they continue to play silly games with ordinary citizens. This is a struggle against the apartheid regime in Guyana. And what makes me very, very unhappy is to see individuals who should know better that are not doing what they're supposed to be doing, and they're playing games with people. They don't understand the struggle. They think the struggle is about them. They think the struggle is about popularity, and they have a misconception about the struggle. Hence my reason, and this is directed to them. They know who they are. That which side are you on? Are you on the side of the people? Are you on the side of corrupt so-called businessmen who believe that they are so powerful that they could buy their way out of a police station, buy their way out of court, or those sort of things? Or are you on the side of the apartheid PPP regime in Guyana? Know which side you are on. And I agree again with Anil Sugrim, Pastor Sugrim. Many do that game players. They play too many games. Too many games they're playing. And you guys would be surprised at some of those individuals who are playing games with you. I don't want to call their names out here as yet, but if they really piss me off, I will call their names. They're playing too many games with the people. And now, let me see, I'm asking what side are you on? And there's somebody saying, I'm on your side, Mark. Poor Mark. Thank you so much, Nikki. Thank you. But it's always good to be on the side of the people, the side of the people. And hence my reason sometimes for talking about the flatfoot hustlers. So let's see what else is there that we can talk about. Oh yeah, somebody, look, this is funny. Why is it funny? Because I've never heard of diaspora activists. I've never even heard of these individuals, but they're diaspora activists. Oh, Father. Can somebody get me a glass of water or something, please? Now, there's this piece of information I wanted to give to you last week, but for some reason or the other, I forgot. So I want to share this with you now. Take a look at this. Take a look at her. To my knowledge, this is the first time in history that we have a person of African descent representing in the highest office. Well, she's second in command. She's the Deputy UK High Commissioner. Deputy UK High Commissioner. Take a look. In fact, I thought that they were going to send a person of African descent as the High Commissioner from the UK, but they sent another woman along with this woman of color the first time. So take a look at her. Her name is Judy Kamboho, right? What a beautiful name. Welcome to Guyana, Honorable Deputy Commissioner. Welcome. And I just thought I'd share that piece of news with you guys. This is the first time. And so the Deputy High Commissioner visited Mazaruni Prison. Mazaruni Prison, she went straight to the prison. Send her there. I'm not sure that I've heard any other high-ranking official or officials from the UK High Commissioner's office ever visited any prison. And I would know. And so this is what caught my attention. Not just the ethnicity of the deputy, but the fact that she visited the prison. And you guys know that those things grab my attention almost immediately. And I want to say thank you to her for taking time out to go all the way down there with the folks in prison. A lot of them might not be guilty of a crime, but they're still there because of circumstances, because of some maybe corrupt lawyer or a corrupt judicial system, a corrupt police officer, and these manner of things. So I'm glad that she took the time out to visit the prison. But I'm not convinced, though, that the prison is that secured. I'm not convinced because no prison is really 100% secure. But they have some programs there at the prison that she apparently is impressed with, and those are things that usually, those are things that I know that have been existing for a while now in terms of those activities within the prison walls, behind the prison walls. So, all right. So now that you know there is such a person, now let's head back to this here. You know, horses walking around Georgetown, donkeys walking, not just in Parliament, but they got donkeys walking in the streets with nothing to eat, nothing to drink. All of these things we're seeing happening under the PPP regime, the installed PPP regime that is now considered, people are describing them as an apartheid regime. That is what they are, apartheid regime. Now, here is something that I want to talk about now. Can I talk for a couple of minutes about Claudette Singh? And I want to involve you guys, all of you, whether it is okay to talk about Claudette Singh this evening. Talk to me. Tell me. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. 30 seconds. 30 seconds to have it sink in. 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I noticed there's a Lloyd Marcus. Lloyd, good evening. Lloyd says, Mark, is Sarah leaving or not? Please enlighten us. You know, that's one of the things that whenever I do enlighten you guys, I want to ensure that it's the accurate information. I don't want to rile you guys up and with propaganda and showboating and these sort of things. And it's what I've been saying to you guys about Sarah, the current ambassador to the US in Guyana. There's this likelihood that if she leaves, it could be sometime in November. Again, I wish to repeat, if she leaves, it could possibly be sometime in November. And if she leaves in November, the second, who is the charge of the affairs right now, another woman, she will act as the ambassador. Sarah Ann Lynch has about another 2 or 3 years more before her retirement. She has another 2 or 3 years more before her retirement. And what may be taking place right now is she may be arguing to stay on a little longer, maybe another year or two. Because if you look at an example given, the ambassadors are basically there for about 2 years, and some spend a little over 2 years. And Sarah's 2 years expired as of March of this year. But she's still there. The reason why she's still there, because there's no appointment. No one, there was an individual who was appointed. Who was identified. And for some reason that, I prefer not to talk about it publicly, because I do believe that there are so many things that do not need to be discussed publicly at all. I'm not that kind of guy that rushes out here and talks about everything and blah, 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 and then most things boil out to be back to square one. But I just don't do that. And so Sarah might be out, based on my information, might be out by at least November. That's it. Might be out by November. If Sarah is not out by November, then the State Department might be comfortable with her being on until another year or so. The argument is being made that the current ambassador the current U.S. ambassador to Barbados has been there for over 5 years now. Over 5 years now. And so that might be a compelling argument that Sarah Ann Lynch might be making in order to stay on a little longer. And now, if you notice, Bloomberg report talked about Guyana being the longest waiting line for visas and all these things. Guyana topped the list. Right away, the U.S. Embassy through the State Department responded. Right away, because they don't want that sort of bad news. They just don't. And it's not that it is bad news, but it doesn't look good. And because there got to be an explanation why folks have to wait so long. But the explanation doesn't really add up. It doesn't add up. I'm not good with math. I'll be the first to say that, right? And I know Jack Deere and Irfan, they're not good at math. In fact, they're not good at anything at all, right? But something isn't adding up as it pertains to the long wait of visas and so forth and so on. Guyana topped that list by far. By far, Guyana has topped that list, the U.S. Embassy in Georgetown. And it tells me that something, I got to do the math. I don't want to give my mouth much liberty, but I've got to do some math as to what's really happening here. But again, in answering that gentleman's question, Sarah may be out in November. That's all I wish to say. May being the operative. May be out. May be out by November. I have nothing further to say, Your Honor, on that situation, because we have other matters to deal with. The other matters we're not going to be dealing with is this Ferrari, right? Sitting somewhere, cannot be shipped to Guyana, and whoever that person that is awaiting this sports car probably is upset that it's not there as yet. Not there as yet. And, these so-called business people feel that they're so powerful that they could ship anything, they could do anything. Some of them don't even pay taxes. They don't even pay the duties on these cars when they go in. These sports cars, these fancy cars that attract maybe $5, $6, $7, $8 million, 10 mil, maybe more in duty. They don't pay. They just go on the wharf. I heard some of them just go on the wharf and they drive their car away. They drive their cars away because of just who they think they are, or they're allowed to believe that they're so powerful that they can do these sort of things. Well, this situation is still lingering. The RSS officer probably has left Guyana by now, so you may get a report by tomorrow. You may get a report by tomorrow as to what the RSS officer has said concerning revelations made by this cop, Dion Bascom. And Dion Bascom has said a lot of things. Unfortunately, the Guyana Police Force are deliberately, senior members of the Guyana Police Force are deliberately ignoring what Bascom has been saying. They want to make Bascom out to be this liar. Oh, that's what the police force, members of the Guyana Police Force, I'm talking about maybe people like in the highest office, maybe the acting commissioner of police, the crime chief, Caesar, that controversial chap Caesar. They don't want to hear these things. So what they're doing is ganging up against this cop. They're ganging up against this cop. But it's not working. That is why this cop, I'm dealing specifically with this issue, right? This cop needs us to gang up with him. He doesn't need, for example, if the so-called businessman that's involved, that's a name has been featuring in this, Azardine Mohammed, is in the habit of calling up people and telling people that their report got to be balanced and they got to be fair. Nobody wants to be fair. Nobody wants to be, and nobody could call me and tell me that I'm not being fair. But what Azardine Mohammed should be doing, if He's so bloody well concerned about being fair or fairness. Suddenly it's fairness to him. Walk into the goddamn police station. Say to the police, take your security guy with you, Mark Richmond. Go into the police station. And I'm talking directly to Azardine Mohammed. If you want people to be fair to you, and you feel that you could pick up the phone and call certain people, and those certain people know who they are, to have them swing their mouths and so forth, then walk into the police station. Say to the police, say to the acting commissioner of police, take your man with you, Mark Richmond. You guys walk into the station and say to the police, the investigators, that you want to clear your name. Sit down and have them interview you guys, probably for 72 hours. Stay in the lockups. That's what life is all about. It's not about everything is money. Money, you spend money, and people who are accustomed buying their way out of things. It's not going to work. That's not how it works. So if you want people to be fair with you, walk into the goddamn CID headquarters, surrender yourself, say to the police, grill me on anything as it pertains to Paper Short's murder, because the family needs justice. And don't be suing around what it's irrelevant. It's irrelevant who Paper Short was and what Paper Short probably was doing and Roger Khan. This is nothing about Roger Khan or Paper Shorts. It's about justice and the fact about corruption at the highest level of the Guyana police force. That is what it's about. Not no other Jim Cockbring Ramgoat story. So walk your goddamn self into the police station and have them grill you, have them question you. And then after questioning you, and your security, if they feel comfortable that you're cleared, obviously they'll feel comfortable, because obviously they're not comfortable questioning you, because obviously they know why they don't want to question you. And it is obvious why they probably can question you. Good. Sorry. We just have to move on now. So that's where I'm at with this particular probe. The RSS officer is in Guyana. They have not. Interestingly, the RSS officer has not interviewed this dude, this guy, this cop. How the heck you're going to be in a country to investigate high level of corruption in the Guyana police force, allegations being made by a cop, covering up that cops are covering up a murder probe because of those officers' involvement with that so-called businessman. And you're telling me that you haven't interviewed this guy, this main guy? Well, the RSS might very well add an R after the first R, because the RSS operate as though this investigation and this guy is not important. I don't know. But they haven't interviewed him. And the RSS officer, after sporting away with some of the very senior officers that he's supposed to be investigating and interviewing, and talking. So they're out enjoying little drinks, little sporting up, and all these things. God in heaven knows what they enjoy. The same level of enjoyment when they were, and entertainment when they were there to investigate the Henry Cousins murder, or as is known, the Henry Boyce murder. Same sporting going on, same thing. God in heaven knows they probably go collect two chicks, they got a seawall or rent some hotel somewhere, and all manner of shaking up. That's just my way of thinking, right? Because that's how they operate. Because you can't tell me that the goddamn RSS officer is in Guyana and hasn't contacted this guy. Know nothing from this guy. So how fair could that report be? He's going to say, oh, the police has the capacity to further investigate this matter, and they should investigate it. But that RSS officer should know that there are other officers who might have a radar zooming in on him. I'm just saying might, mind you. right? I noticed Candace, right? Money talks. Now, I'm not accusing that saying that the RSS officer has taken money or anything, but something doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right about what's happening at all. It didn't look right. Right, Brian Singh? It doesn't look right at all. And so what they're doing, they're pressuring this guy here now. They want him to cave in. So we are told, according to a source close to Bascom, that guys zooming up next to his house, and the allegations are that those guys, allegations, mind you, might be security guys for, or so-called security guys for Azzuddin Mohammed. Again, allegations, so-called security guys, allegations, right? Because in this situation here, you never know what can happen. And Mr. Bascom is right. He's fearful that they will eliminate him. In other words, they could possibly zoom in and just take him out. He has legitimate reasons for doing that. After all, there's this murder probe that we're talking about and the high level of corruptions and all manner of things. So it is still there. So while the police force ignoring this guy and they're zooming in on him from all angles they're zooming in on him. Commissioner of Police has not done much, but you see his friend there, Azzuddin Mohammed. Look at them. And then you have Azzuddin again and this guy Irfan Ali. Yeah, that's such is life in Guyana. I noticed somebody said money talks. Well, God in heaven knows what talks. But something seems to be talking. And what I do know is not the right thing, because the family members of this guy needs justice, and the Guyanese people need to find out whether they were tampering in this case, whether police officers who were involved in the investigations deliberately diverted or destroyed evidence, because those evidence who knows, we don't know, but the fingers are pointing at the security guy for Azzuddin Mohammed and also in Azzuddin's direction. Allegations again, level of allegations, they need to be investigated. They need to. Hence my reason for saying to this guy, Azzuddin Mohammed, go into the police station, take yourself and your security guy in there, and then we can say that's the fairness you can talk about. Fairness is not about people speaking, great and good things about this little guy, Azzuddin. Who knows of him? Who cares whatever money you have? That's not the issue. Who's concerned about that? At least I'm not, right? So walk into the station and do what you got to do. Don't try to intimidate individuals, as is the case now. We are told that this guy, Dion Bascom, received a summon today. He is being sued by this guy, Azzuddin Mohammed, for $100 million. Oh, I'm going to sue him. $100 million, right? Again, we go back to when people feel that they have money and they feel that they're powerful, they feel they can do anything. So now he wants a cop that makes less than $100,000 a month, I guess. He could be making more, I don't know. Azzuddin wants $100 million from, Bascom. Where Bascom going to find the money from? But all Bascom said was what he had to. He's an investigator. He was part of the murder probe of Azzuddin Mohammed. And so during the course of the investigation, this is exactly what transpired. And because of that now, they're all rushing in now to basically gang up on Bascom. They're ganging up on Bascom. They're intimidating Bascom. They're doing all manner of things to Bascom. Now, I don't want people to tell me, but Bascom used to take away people's potato and people planted chips and things. That's irrelevant to what's happening. I don't know Bascom personally. I've never met him, So this is not like with Bascom, this is a personal issue. No, what is of a personal nature to me is the fact that the family members need justice, and the fact that there are serious allegations of corruption of a murder probe, serious allegations by a senior member or senior members of the Guyana Police Force that ought to be ought to be investigated. That is where my priority lies. Right there. On those things. Nothing else. Absolutely. I don't know Bascom. I don't even know this kid. So there's nothing personal across the board for me. I don't even know this mechanic shop with all these burnt out cars and all these different things. I don't know. But we need to get to the bottom of these things. So we must not forget about this, the high level of allegations. High level of allegations. And all they're doing is circling Paul Bascom to make him look like as though he is just the culprit. We heard what this guy said before, right? He came on Travis Chase's program and he said one thing. Less than 24 hours. I don't know if money talks. I don't know if money had to do with anything. I just don't know. Mind you, I'm letting you guys know that I just don't know if money talks, whatever talks, who talks. I don't know. But in less than 24 hours, this guy, this guy was singing. He was on Travis Chase program singing Dennis Brown. Then less than 24 hours after, he gone over on Big Smith singing Chutney. Oh, you guys, Chutney. Something comes to mind. What was in that chutney that he was singing? Well, we can just speculate. We don't know. I don't know. Whether he was bought over, whether they threatened him, whether they tell him that they're gonna lock him away in prison for things that he probably may know. I don't know. Or whether they fold up couple Michael and put it in his hands. I don't know. Again, these are things I'm saying here. I'm not leveling allegations that he has taken money or whatever. I'm saying I don't know. I don't know. But we are dealing with Guyana, and we know how the system works. For those of us, that's why I'm saying I don't know. I don't know, pal. This guy could be eating fried plantain fried with foreign oil, or could be eating some sort of halal food. Oops, did I say halal food right now? Mark, you're a naughty little boy. All right, good. So let us see here now what else we can talk about, because it's 10 o'clock. And whenever it's 10 o'clock, you guys don't want me to go. And whenever I don't come on the air, whenever I don't come on the air, some of you guys want to bully me all manner of things. You guys know the kind of things that I go through, huh? Just for you. All right. Look at this. Elections. Oh, we're not dealing with that. We got to go back to my friend, Claudette Singh. There's several things I want to talk. Now, Gail Teixeira. Oh, wow. I notice our friend here on 107.1 FM knows about Molly now. Congratulations, Brenda. Everybody seems to know about Molly now. But Molly, I don't know what Molly looks like. Never seen it. Just recently heard of it through some guy that went to Guyana was singing about Molly. I thought it was Molly from number 35 Village, Borbice, that had some issue many years ago. Molly. So everybody's talking about Molly. It's Molly the pill. Pop that pill, Molly, right? Or so. So, anyways, let's go to Claudette now. Aubrey Norton, the leader of the opposition, said, and rightly so, that there will be, he wants the list to be clean, house-to-house registration. Now, what is wrong with that? Nobody in their right mind can disagree with the leader of the opposition, Aubrey Norton, on that issue. Nobody would disagree with Aubrey Norton. None, absolutely none. And so Mr. Norton went on to say that if these things aren't cleaned up, they can be serious repercussions. And I agree with Aubrey Norton on that again. But guess what? The PPP is so, I don't know what's happening with them, but they're so afraid of maybe their own shadow also. They're just afraid of their own shadow. Maybe one of their MPs can resign, maybe two can resign, maybe two can switch if there's a no confidence motion and all these, maybe. And so they're very fidgety right now. Anything you say about the PPP, they're very sensitive about it. Very, very sensitive. And so, because Aubrey Norton said, and rightly so, that there could be serious repercussion. And in saying that, it doesn't mean violence, it doesn't mean, but that is how silly the PPP folks are, especially those in a Freedom House and Office of the President. They're silly, they're dotish. Look at their behavior, look at their antics, look at who they're surrounded by. And then you will know that they're so goddamn dotish and infantile. So Gail Teixeira wants the police to go and get Aubrey Norton, right? Go and get him, pull him in. Gail Teixeira is not saying that the police should go and get Mark Richmond, or Azardine Mohammed. She's not going to say, let the police go and get Mark Richmond and Azardine Mohammed and interview them about the murder allegations and so forth, Paper Sharks murder. She's not going to say that. But she's sitting in the slip, smoking some big Congo plum or whatever she's smoking, or popping. I don't know whether she does those things, but what I do know is that she smokes. Whether it's Congo plum, cigarette, whatever, but she smokes. She sits in a corner with a big Congo plum cigarette or whatever, saying that the police should go after Aubrey Norton for saying that there will be repercussions. So what's wrong with that? What's wrong with that? It is this same Claudette Singh, during the course of elections, that the PPP supporters were threatening and all manner of things. They wanted to do that woman, They wanted to execute all manner of things. And I know of some of the individuals who were threatening her. Claudette Singh knows of some of those individuals. Some of them are so-called big business people. Big business people who like give away cars and all these manner of things. Big business people who were threatening her. And she was afraid that they would have killed her during the course of the elections. After the elections, she was afraid. And those people that she was afraid of were not PNC people. They were not Aubrey Norton. They were nobody in the opposition. She was more fearful for her life because of PPP individuals and those corrupt businessmen who were affiliated with the PPP. That's a fact. Those are who she was afraid of. I can give my mouth more liberty here. And when I say these things to you, I'm not just talking out of secondhand information. Those who are smart enough to know and read between the lines. But I'm not like other people that tells you everything and dash everything out there and then in the end gets nowhere. But I know for a fact, sorry, I have to include that piece of editorializing. But Claudette Singh had more to be fearful of under the PPP during the course of the elections campaign and after the elections campaign. She was afraid that they were going to kill her. There were threats on her life by PPP thugs. But where was Gail Teixeira? Where the heck was Gail Teixeira and all these lampy-pampy kunumunus, trench crappos who are popping out their holes right now to talk about what Aubrey Norton said? All Aubrey Norton used a word was repercussion. What the hell is happening in Guyana? That you can't use certain words any longer? You can't say sex anymore? You can't say fight anymore? You can't say fire anymore? You can't use those terms? You can't say racist anymore? That they're going to want to host the police on you because of these things? Is that the sort of democracy we want to live in? No. Totally unacceptable. And we must stand up and fight against that. Yes, I'm using the word fight against the apartheid regime in Guyana. So what? If Aubrey said there will be repercussion if the list, the voters list, is not sanitized. It has to be sanitized. And I support and agree with Aubrey Norton 100%. Goddamn apartheid Guyana under the corrupt installed PPP regime. Corrupt individuals want to take away freedom of speech from people. You got to be afraid to speak. All they want you to do is to just be lovey-dovey with them and praise them, and so to hell with them. If they're corrupt, they're corrupt. If they're racist, they're racist. If it's an apartheid regime right now running Guyana, well, so be it. They are corrupt from the highest level all the way down. Corrupt. Look at who they associate with. A bunch of gangsters, criminals, some of whom are disguised as businessmen. Some of them are in the private sector commission and all manner of things. Look at what they're doing to people. Look at the people lands that they're taking away. Look at wrong. Look at all those sort of things. And you're telling me, oh, Smokey, this all because Orby used the word repercussion. And then you get that one seat guy on the other end is saying that, oh, you can't say this and you can't use that word and you can't use this. And now I know that he's on to something else, saying that how the coalition spent over $100 million, over $100 million. Honestly, I don't know how some people became magistrates or lawyers, man. Seriously, much as to be attorney general. Not even the country Kenya and all would put somebody like that as attorney general. Not even Kenya. And you guys know what I'm saying when I say Kenya as opposed to Kenya. Kenya, right? Kenya. Give me a break. $100 million. And now Anil, wants the police to investigate Basil Williams on that now. He wants that now. But they're spending $90+ million. $90+ million. Here what I want Anil Nandalal to do. Let them publish the list of those, the $90 million spent. I want to see the names of those lawyers that they hired. It will be interesting to see the names that Anil Nandalal, through the chambers of the Attorney General's chambers, I want to see the names of those liars and where the $90 million was spent on and who got the most. I want to see that list. Don't come tell us Jim Cock bring Ramgood's story, but the PNC spent $100 million. You just stayed in office for just a little over 2 years and you done spend more than $90 million. The coalition was in office over 5 years and $100 million, and you vex about that. It looks as though when persons of African descent spend little crumbs is a problem, but it's only the PPP could spend hundreds of millions of dollars and billions of dollars, wasting it, giving it to their friends and their cronies and all manner of things. Give me a goddamn break, man. I'm sick and tired of the PPP and their trash. Apartheid Guyana. You guys take this photograph, just share it. It's Apartheid Guyana. That is what it is. Apartheid Guyana. Don't let anybody take freedom of speech away from you. No one. Absolutely no one. They have no moral authority, none whatsoever, to tell us that we can't speak. What I really want to say, man, just hold myself back, please. They get a song that said, don't hold me back, but just hold me back for now. Hold me back for now. Don't hold me back. Don't hold me back. A day will come when that will happen in Guyana. People ain't gonna hold nobody back. It's all gonna just, I could see that. I could see the signs. Trust me, a little bit of a see far, man, you know. I could see far. I could see real far, 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 far. I could see, and I'm seeing very far. All right, whatever else it is, what's it? 12 minutes after 10 o'clock, guys. 12 minutes after 10 o'clock. I've got to go. You want me to go or you want me to stay on for another hour? Let me know. You guys tell me, man. You guys run the show right now. Let me take a quick break while I read your comment to see whether you want me to stay or you want me to just pack up and just let me know.
So this is attorney Shellen Washington, owner and founder of the Washington law firm located at 455 Utica Avenue in Brooklyn, New York. We're specialized in medical malpractice, personal injuries, matrimonial law, and landlord and tenant. If you're in need of legal representation, please give us a call today. The number to call is 718-877-3100. Consultation is free at no cost to you. So call us today to see if we can be of any assistance to your legal needs. Again, the phone number to call us is 718-877-3100.
Source.
Okay, well,
Maybe the Chinese company that did not get the agreement that they wanted here, maybe they're the ones who told you, or it could be just a fictitious thing.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jerome?
So my relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place. Yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes. Yes. He is a friend of ours. His father was here from many years ago.
I mean, he lives next door to you.
Yes.
You know, he was able to arrange.
Those were the questions that were posed, but Jack Day was running from that, running away from that, running away from the Sue allegations. We don't know where Sue is, all manner of things, running away from that, and he just wants to focus on other areas. But we'll remember and we'll keep that on the agenda. The Sue situation will be kept on the agenda, because the apartheid regime should not be able to get away with this, and they are not going to get away with it at all. The apartheid PPP regime. You guys are going to go to bed and remember this: the apartheid PPP regime, apartheid PPP regime, and the Sue Gate. I notice a lot of you telling me stay on. Well, I'm going to be out of here shortly, right? So don't forget Sue Gate, Sue, the issue of Sue. And do not forget the fact that there's high-level allegations that is of corruption that involve allegations, mind you, that involve this guy Caesar, about what this guy, a cop, has said against his boss, who is superintendent or senior super, whatever they call it, whatever soup, right? Caesar. And it has to do with allegations that they are covering up a murder probe that allegedly involved this guy and his security guy. This guy is Azardin Mohammed, and his security guy, Mark Richmond. That's what it's about. All right, all allegations, and the police seem not to be wanting to get to the bottom of that at all. Okie dokie. Well, I'll be back tomorrow. I will, I promise you. But remember, the question is, which side are you on? Be careful with some of those who are pretending to be on your side when in fact they're not on your side. They're all over the place. And maybe, sometimes money talks. Who knows? Who knows? And this guy, remember, he said not so long ago that give public servants 50%. 50%, give public service. You know the hypocrites when you see them. And the same guy that says, give public servants 50%, they're part of this installed regime, this apartheid regime, and even the animals, they got starving in a beautiful, beautiful country. I've got to go. My name is Mark Benschop. I'll be back tomorrow, same place, same time. God bless you, and continue to pray for a beautiful, beautiful country. Until tomorrow, bye-bye.
Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko licky love up on the dam and the gala holla murder.
Police are come and the gala holla murder. Police police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko kissy love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko chase the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko catchy love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come.
Sanko squeeze the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko squeeze the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder.
Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Sanko left the love upon the dam and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Bim bam, police are come and the gala holla murder. Sanko boy,
You better run.
Sanko boy, police are come. Sanko boy, you better run. Sanko boy, policeman are come. Sanko,
You better run.
Sanko,
Police are come.
Sanko,
You better run.